everyone. My name is Sherry and I have a store on eBay that goes by the name of Ladyfish Loot, and I currently have 388 listings. I'm always going to tell you what my listings are because my goal, I'm a very small seller obviously, but my goal is to have 500 by the end of this year. So I'm just, it's like a way of keeping track for myself, and that's really what it is. It's a way of keeping track for myself and holding myself accountable. Today's video is going to be my solds for the month of July. I had 14 sales, which is typical for me. That's normal. I usually sell something every other day, and that just seems to be my sweet spot. Now my goal is obviously to improve on that. I don't pay to play on eBay. I don't use any of their promotions or any of their advertising. So I guess I just kind of sit around and wait for them to finally decide to send a buyer my way, and I'm grateful for it. So again, today it'll be 14 sales for the month of July. I will tell you, I have to refer to my notes because I am just learning how to do YouTube videos, and I don't know how the other resellers post it, the solds on for you to see. I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to have to refer to my notes, but I will be posting a picture of each item that I sold right up there because I have learned how to do that. Baby steps. I'm trying to learn something new, and I'm going to learn it. But my videos will never be polished, overproduced. That's just not me. It's going to be me talking to the camera and telling you about my life as a reseller. So the very first item I sold was a Bowden, I think that's how you pronounce it, Bowden College curling t-shirt. This t-shirt I had listed for over 2 years. I paid $3 for it at a thrift store in Phoenix. Most of these things that I've sold today, I think, were things that I bought in Phoenix. And if you're just now watching one of my videos, I'm working on a project. I recently moved from Phoenix back to the Midwest, and I moved everything back with me. And when I say everything, I mean a storage unit full of a death pile that I'm going to turn into a money pile. It's at least 10 years worth of stuff that has been sitting in a storage unit in bins, pristine, I'm sure, because they're in covered bins. I'm really anxious. It's going to be like Christmas. I cannot wait to go through these bins and reintroduce myself to things that I purchased in my past. I digress. That is not what this video is about. But the point of that is the majority of the stuff that I'm going to be listing going forward will be items that I bought in Phoenix. There are a few things that I sold in July that I bought when I first came back to Indiana, and I bought during a summer of 2024, before I made a buying freeze for myself. And that buying freeze started on September 5th of 2024, and I haven't purchased anything for almost a year, and that is a super bummer because, as any reseller will tell you, the best part of this, the best part of being a reseller is the thrill of the hunt. So anyway, let's just jump into it. I think I already told you about the Bowden College t-shirt. I paid $3 at a thrift store in Phoenix. The buyer, I had it listed for $29. The buyer offered $25, and of course I took it, and she also paid $6.99 in shipping. The next thing I sold was a Disney Cat Lady t-shirt. This was an item I purchased last summer in Indiana at an estate sale. It was a huge estate sale. I picked up 105 items for $220. So each item, if you dollar cost average, was $2.10. So I paid $2.10 for this t-shirt. I had it listed for $29. The buyer offered $22. She paid $22 plus $6.99 shipping. The next item I sold was Savan camouflage cargo shorts. I will never buy this brand again. It was a bummer. It was not a good buy. I overpaid. I paid $3.99 for them at a Salvation Army in Phoenix. I had them listed for $10. That is what the buyer bought them for, and he paid $9.99 in shipping. They did have to go in a padded flat rate envelope due to their weight. The next item I sold was a Gashly Crumb Tinies book t-shirt. I'm not even going to try and figure out what that's all about. I bought this t-shirt while I was visiting my sister in Missouri. Hi, Kim. And it was a Goodwill in Missouri. I paid $2 for the t-shirt. I had it listed for $29. That is what the buyer paid for it, and they paid $6.99 in shipping. The next item I purchased was a Sir Pendleton pure virgin wool button-up long sleeve shirt. It was a solid color dark gray. This was purchased at a thrift store, a Goodwill in Phoenix, and you'll know it's Goodwill because of the price I paid for it. Paid way too much for it, but I thought I would get $50 for it. I didn't. I still made a profit, super happy with it, but I spent $12.79 for the shirt. I had it listed for $39 and the buyer offered $33 plus shipping of $6.99, and that is obviously what it sold for. The next item I sold, I was so glad to get rid of this. I had it listed for over 3 years. By the way, I'm a long tail seller. I don't care how long things stay in my store. I wait for the right offer, the right price, and if the potential buyer and I can't work out a price, I just wait for the next one and hopefully can work out a deal with that person. So it was a Sayberry seersucker nightgown robe housecoat, and I paid $4.99 for it at a Salvation Army in Phoenix. It was listed for $29. That is what it sold for, and she paid $9.99 shipping. Again, a padded flat rate envelope due to weight. The next item I sold was a Smart Wool Floral Meadow bracer back tank top, a ladies shirt. I paid $2.10 for the shirt, and the reason that price came is because I was at a store and it was fill a bag for $30. I purchased 15 amazing items, of which all have sold but 3. And again, dollar cost average, 15 items and sales tax. I do the complete what it cost me to purchase this item out the store. Each item came to about $2.10 each. I had it listed for $29. The buyer offered $25, and she also paid $6.99 in shipping. The next item I sold, it sold to the same buyer. It was a Jeff Alessi and a Mike Alessi. I hope I'm pronouncing their names correctly. They were motocross superstars, one of which has since passed. But this buyer wanted both jerseys, and so we worked out a deal on the combined shipping. So he paid $149.99 for each jersey. By the way, they each cost me $14.13. I purchased them at an auction in Phoenix. So he paid $149.99 each and $12.99 shipping for both. And I will put a picture of both of the jerseys up there, starting with Jeff first. Be Jeff first, then Mike. The next item I sold was a Disney, again, the Disney estate, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea t-shirt. I paid the $2.10 I spoke about previously. I had it listed for $29. That is what the buyer paid for it, and $6.99 in shipping. The next item was a Valelli, and I hope I am saying this right. It's a skateboarder person's t-shirt, and it's Valelli Powell Peralta elephant t-shirt. This is a really cool sale for me because I've had this listed for over 3 years also. The same person came back, we went back and forth for 3 years, and he would lowball me every time on this shirt, and I would always have to counter. He was not happy, so he would decline. Well, back in July, he finally came in at a decent offer. He offered 18. I had it listed for 29. He offered 18. I countered with 22 because that's the lowest I wanted to take on it. It was a limited edition t-shirt, and it was super cool. So he agreed to the $22 plus $6.99 shipping. So I'm really glad this person got the t-shirt finally. The next item I sold was a Portuguese good luck prosperity rooster figurine. I paid 33 cents for it. It was part of an auction lot that I purchased in Indiana last summer. So I had it listed for $10. It's not a big sale, but you know what? Pennies become dollars. I've lived by those words forever. Profit is profit. I spent 33 cents on the item. I had it listed for $10. It sold for $8, and she paid $7.99 in shipping. The next item, also part of the Disney estate, was a Bart Simpson Go Bruins Boston Bruins t-shirt. $2.10 is what I paid for it. I had no idea what to price this shirt at because I couldn't find one. I found similar, but not the same, and they were listed for around $69 to $79. Mine wasn't exactly the same, and it had a very noticeable flaw of a seam that was out of place. It was up the front of the shirt. Plus the neck tag had been cut out, but I could tell it was a vintage tag. So I listed it at $69. Whatever I get, I'm going to be happy with. I really didn't want anything less than $40 for it. And the buyer came in with a $50 offer, of which I happily accepted, and plus $6.99 shipping. And the very last item I sold was a Clarence House Staffordshire fabric sample. Again, part of the Indiana estate last year that I got something as a box lot for 33 cents. In that box lot was, among many other things, was 5 fabric samples. I almost threw them in the garbage, but because that's just not my wheelhouse. That's not what I sell. But being a reseller, you're going to sell whatever you can make a profit on. So I listed all five. All 5 sold like quickly. They were vintage. They were from the 90s. And this one sold for the lowest. And it was $19. I listed for $19. She paid $19. And plus she also spent the $6.99 on shipping. So that's what I sold for the month of July. And yes, I already told you that the pictures will be right up here so that you'll know exactly what the item looked like. Soon, I hope to be able to figure out how other resellers do the solds and they, do the screenshot and all of that. That's coming because I will learn how to do that. But I do appreciate you spending this time with me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed it because I love having this visual now for me to watch back of things that I have sold. I have 2 huge binders in my office of things I have sold over the past 16 years as a reseller on eBay. I've been a reseller for 20 years. And it's cool going through it like a book, but I wanted something in a video form. I want something I can always refer back to when I'm no longer doing this. So anyway, I will leave you with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.